Hey there guys, what's going on? In today's best class setups in Modern Warfare video, we're taking a look at another big one here today. We're taking a look at one of the best weapons in Modern Warfare for sure, the Grau 5.56. Here we've got what I believe is one of, if not the best weapon and best class setups in the game. I know you won't believe me based on the quality of my gameplay, but I've never actually gotten a nuke in Modern Warfare before. I've certainly come close a number of times. The other day I was on a 28 gun streak and got drop shot pushing up. That was definitely my fault, but I think this is definitely the class setup that I am most likely to, and all of you are most likely to get those nukes and those longer streaks. So with this overpowered class setup, you'll be able to absolutely shred your opponents with minimal recoil and pretty fantastic range. And funnily enough, somebody also recommended this class to me as part of my viewer class setup videos, which is pretty amusing. But just before we do get into this class setup here, let's try and get this video to 22 likes. The support on the videos from you guys has continued to be absolutely fantastic recently, and I know they say that every time, but you guys really are excellent. So a big thank you to everyone for liking, subscribing, and commenting on all of the videos. I do appreciate it, of course, and I've got loads of videos lined up for you guys while you are stuck inside with the quarantine, so make sure you do subscribe with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of the upcoming videos. We very recently did hit 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, so I guess we're on the road to 1,100 now. But according to this little graph I do have here, 96.2% of you are not subscribed to the channel. That's you watching this video right now who aren't subscribed. I'm talking directly to you. Make sure you do subscribe for me. Right, so let's talk about this Grau class here. Right, so as I said, you already know that the Grau 5.56 is one of my favorite weapons in multiplayer, and it's definitely super strong in Warzone 2, and we talked about that previously. A hard-hitting, low-recoil assault rifle with excellent range is always going to perform very, very well. With this class, you'll be set for pretty much any engagement. This is the full setup of attachments that we normally show off at the start of the video. These attachments combined definitely make the Grau 5.56 one of the best guns in the game at the moment. It's really super hard to go past this and really does only compete with the M4 as the best gun in the game. It's sort of a bit of a toss-up whether you like the M4 or the Grau 5.56 more. They're both very close together. And then sort of following behind those is maybe the Ram 7, maybe? But if you are dropping out of the video at this stage, I do of course appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much for doing so. I appreciate you checking out this video, of course, and hopefully this class did help you out. But for the rest of you, I'm going to go over my attachment choices in a little bit more depth like we always do. So we'll start out with our sidearm perks and grenade choices here like we normally do. They don't typically change too much between my classes, but this one is specifically designed to hold power positions, so it's a little bit different to how we normally set up. Our sidearm is of course the newly added Renetti, which at the moment is basically all you see people using in the sidearm slot. We set it up like this with the MK3 burst mod, the 1mW laser, the lightweight trigger, the 27 round mags, and the akimbo perk of course. This is just like definitely one of the most overpowered things in the game at the moment, and is absolutely going to get nerfed in the next patch like they did with the 357 snake shot back in the day when that was far, far too strong. Basically, you just run up to someone who's at close range and you just delete them. Like, they don't even have a chance to react. The time to kill is basically 0. Like, they just die straight away. Perk 1, we do have EOD here. This protects us from dying to explosives most of the time and makes it a little bit more difficult for people to push us off our power positions, or as it's known to everybody else in the world, camping. Perk 2, we do have restock here. We're holding areas with this. So another word, as I said already, is camping, but this allows us to hate getting lethal and tacticals every 25 seconds, and this works really nicely with our third perk, which is shrapnel, which does give us an extra lethal equipment. Speaking of, we've got the proximity mine in the lethal slot here, and we will use both of these to sort of defend our back and watch areas that we can't watch while we're trying to shoot out windows and stuff like that. And the tactical is of course the stim shot, because of the extra lives and the extra chances that we do get per life is really, really powerful. Plus we get a new one every 25 seconds. First of all, in the muzzle slot, we do have the monolithic suppressor. You're pretty much required to run either the compensator or the monolithic suppressor on most weapons in this game, but here we get the sound suppression and damage range, as they are usually super powerful in this game. The sound suppression makes it a little bit harder for enemies to track you down when you're shooting, and the extended damage range is super strong for taking out targets that are slightly further away than usual. Typically, the monolithic suppressor is between a 7% to about 15 or 20% increase in our damage range, so something that increases our damage range is always going to be a positive. Plus, we don't really typically need the compensator for the Grau, as it has typically low recoil. It's just one of those really super strong attachments. So of course, in the muzzle slot, we've got the monolithic suppressor, and that's our first attachment for this overpowered Grau 5.56 class. Secondly, in the barrel slot, we've got two options that do very similar things here, of course. You can choose between the Tempest 26.4 inch Archangel barrel and the FSS 20.8 inch Nexus barrel. Both of these options do give us a huge boost to our damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, while reducing our ADS speed and movement speed in varying amounts. Both of these are excellent attachment options for the Grau, and it really does come down to which iron sight you do prefer. With the Archangel, you get more of a needle-like point, which lets you be way more accurate at super long ranges. Plus, the barrel does give us slight bonuses to our range and accuracy when you do compare it to the Nexus, whereas the Nexus, as I said, has a more standard iron sight. It's more shaped like a W, like they normally are, and it focuses on a little bit more of mobility, but it's still pretty powerful at range. But like I said, both of these are fantastic options, and you can pretty much make your decision on which iron sight you prefer. So for the sake of a complete class here, we've got my favorite barrel, the Tempest 26.4-inch Archangel, and that's the second attachment for this Overpowered Grau class. Next, we've got what is somehow still a very underrated attachment in this game. In the Underbarrel slot, we've got the Commando foregrip. With this, we do get recoil, stabilization, and aiming stability. These stats really do help with the horizontal recoil of the Grau and helps make us very, very accurate. Similar to the recoil control bonuses that we do get from the Archangel barrel, this does help us fight at longer ranges and will help us pick off targets, and that usually makes this weapon very, very powerful at range. Like, I'll typically try and compete with snipers and long-range weapons, and more often than not, I'll still come out on top. I can mostly put this down to being super stable without much extra recoil, or the sniper being bad. Basically, you can be super accurate at all ranges is what I'm trying to say here. Not much else to say though. This is an attachment that helps us stay on target and is still somehow underrated in this game. So again, in the Underbarrel slot, we do have the Commando foregrip, and that's the third attachment for this Grau class. Next, in the ammo slot, we do have the granddaddy of attachments. Typically, we can choose between either the 50 or the 60 round mags here. These are very simple attachments. Having 60 or 50 bullets in your mag is always going to be super strong. With the Grau 5.56, people can take like 3 to 5 shots to kill depending on where you hit them. So sometimes if you do come across a bunch of enemies with these default 30 round mags, which is sometimes not enough, you can struggle if you are forced to reload. While you're reloading, somebody could just push up on you and take advantage of the time where you can't actually shoot them, and that's your streak dead. Nuke's gone. It's all over. The speed run's dead. Nuke's gone. Not even anything to worry about there. We also don't really care too much about the negative speed increases or negative speed aspects of this attachment that we do get here. If you are a little bit concerned about it though, you can go with the 50 round mags, as this does make you slightly more mobile while reducing your magazine size by 10. But we're of course going with the 60 round mags for the most bullets that we can get. While we do lose a little bit of speed, it's not too much to worry about, and we can look after that with other attachments. So of course, in the ammo slot, we do have these 60 round mags, but the 50 round is also a good option. And lastly, we are going to go with the rear grip slot, of course. Here we have the XRK Void 2, which is basically just another way how to say the stippled grip tape. Of course, we do get aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. We do lose a little bit of aiming stability and actually recoil control here, but again, it's not too much to worry about. And if you are concerned about the recoil control drop, you can also run the no stock option. I mean, this does reduce your recoil control as well, but you do get aim down sight speed and movement speed. So you do have two different options here in this last slot, stock or rear grip. Typically, I do go with the XRK Void 2 just for the extra sprint to fire speed, because I do tend to like to sprint around and sort of tactical sprint, and getting that weapon up much faster while you do have the extra sprint to fire speed is super powerful. But of course, the no stock option is another super powerful, like very, very powerful option in this game for getting those sights up quickly and moving around much faster. So typically I'll run either one of these depending on how I'm feeling at the time. But in this class setup particularly, I'm going with the XRK Void 2 grip, and that is the last attachment for this overpowered class. Of course, in saying that, you can swap out some of these attachments if you would prefer. As I already mentioned, you can pick the no stock over, say, the XRK Void 2 grip, or you can always choose like a tack laser over that grip, or an optic if you don't prefer the iron sights. Like, you do have very good options here, and they do make the weapon very effective. But I wouldn't recommend taking off the monolithic suppressor, the Archangel barrel, or the Commando foregrip, as they do make the weapon very accurate and very, very powerful. So this is everything that we do have in this overpowered class setup here. I'll flash everything up on the screen again, just in case you did miss it. But this class is super strong. The Grau 5.56 is still overpowered in multiplayer, and it's definitely one of the best weapons for sure in the game, if not the best weapon in my opinion. It'd be very interesting to see if we are going to get some balance changes very soon to sort of try and differentiate some of the weapons. Like maybe we get some movement speed increases to one of the weapons in the list, and sort of the tier list of weapons in this game goes up or down, like sort of depending on how you want to play. Basically, you have more choice. But we'll have to wait and see for the next balance patch, which I believe is coming at some point next week. So we'll see from there. This is definitely one of the best classes in multiplayer at the moment, so do try this out and you'll end up having a very, very good time getting close to those nukes for sure. Thank you very much for watching this one, guys. I do appreciate it, of course. If you did enjoy this one, make sure you do let me know by leaving a like and subscribing if you are new around here, of course, so you don't miss out on any more of these class setups. We are, of course, now working our way towards 1,100 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!